back to my channel. Hope everyone's having a good Friday. This man, I did this video yesterday, and then I discovered from Jay from Guilty of Crime and Kimberly saying I had no sound and my microphone wasn't working. So I must remember to keep a check on those three little green dots at the bottom of my screen. Well, when you come in, housekeeping rules, please come in, like, subscribe, all notifications, and share. The more you do this for me, the more I get into the algorithm with YouTube. And I do need all the members I can possibly get. So I'll wait for a few minutes, see if anyone comes in, because like I said, this is one that I did originally yesterday. Spent 45 minutes to an hour on it, and then I had to get rid of it because there was no sound. So, but yeah, I'll just give anyone time to come in. This is a really sad story, this is. Guy who loved roller coasters so much, and he's been on them many times before, and he's a wheelchair user, and not once till the last ride did anything ever happen to him. Right, we'll just give it a minute. So if anyone wants to come in, come in, come in. I don't bite. Not very hard anyway. Don't bite very hard. Right, let's start this then, shall we? Let me go back up to chat room. Right, so I will share this video with you. As I said, it is really sad case of it, but I'll give you a rundown. The mouse is playing up. So this man, Kevin Zavala, he got on this roller coaster, but he never got off alive. What happened to him, as far as we know? Kevin Rodriguez Zavala was just like any theme park visitor, excited, ready to go, smiling. But within minutes, the excitement would turn into something more terrifying. It was a normal night at the theme park, lights flashing, music blasting, crowds everywhere, like you would expect at a busy theme park. Kevin boarded one of the park's most intense rides, and a high-speed roller coaster that's designed to push human bodies beyond its limits. He sat down, the restraints came down, click, click, locked in. Everything felt and looked safe. But here's what most people don't understand. The roller coaster restraints don't completely stop your body from moving. They lock you in place, but your head and your neck and your stomach can still be thrown around by the force. And on extreme rides, those forces can be quite lethal. I remember years ago when I was a teenager, I used to love all the fast rides. And, it's just one of those things, it's like a satisfaction after you've done it. And then you want to go again, again, again. So as the ride launched, something went very wrong. According to reports, Kevin's body wasn't fully stabilized. His head began hitting parts of the restraint again and again and again. Now, we know that most people's heads can only take so many bangs to it before it becomes quite fatal. And obviously, once you're on the ride, you got no way of letting them know that, there's a problem. There's no like emergency button, like there is on trains and things where you can just pull the thing down and the train comes to a stop. You can't do that on these rides. And I think that's one thing they need to look at. And also, this ride only opened last May. And 4 months later, they have someone who fatally landed up losing their life. So in the aftermath, emergency crews rushed in, guests watched in total shock. A fun night at the theme park turned into tragedy in minutes. Apparently, the restraints worked as they were designed, but it relies on your body to stay stable inside. Now, going around a roller coaster at 62 miles an hour, it's really hard to keep your body still or stable inside, because you are going to get lifted up off your bottom in the seat and thrown back down into the seat again, so at the end of the day, it was one ride, one moment, and one reminder that even the safest of things are not risk-free. So if I just go ahead and play this sidebar with Jesse, I think from what I remember yesterday, there was some ads of his, but I'll try and catch the ads quickly.
This call came out as he needs a Band-Aid, and then it escalated rapidly.
Chaos at a Florida amusement park when a visitor is severely injured on a ride.
We are completely closing off the area, so if you can help us make sure that there are no guests or team members up on startup.
We are getting our first look at body camera footage of first responders swarming the platform of the Stardust Racers ride at Epic Universe in Orlando, trying to save a young man's life.
They keep saying over and over again, but there were no malfunctions. That doesn't mean that there were no safety issues.
We are digging into the emergency response and the investigation that was done in the
Just checking if my sound's still working.
Aftermath of this young man's death, as well as why the man's parents ended up blasting the park at a news conference.
Everyone deserves to enjoy these parks and come home safely. That's all we're asking for.
Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. A Florida woman went through a horrific nightmare last year. Javalise was riding a roller coaster at Universal Studios' Epic Universe next to her longtime boyfriend, Kevin Rodriguez Zavala, when she looked over and realized something was terribly wrong. As the roller coaster plummeted downward and whipped around corners, Kevin was apparently repeatedly hitting his head. Blood was flying everywhere. Javalise was screaming. When the Stardust Racer finally came to a stop, the 32-year-old's body was limp and it was contorted. Epic Universe employees, medics, Orange County EMTs, they rushed to help him, pulling him from the ride, putting him on the ground to do CPR, but it was too late. Kevin died on September 17th, 2025. And since then, law enforcement in the park itself have done investigations, and there was a potential lawsuit on behalf of the family that was being considered. Epic Universe changed some of the guidance for their coasters. So we're going to dive into each aspect of this awful incident to show how investigators responded, how this conclusion was reached. And we'll talk about what that conclusion was, but the footage is just something else. Now, I do have to give you some important context as we talk about this for you to understand. So Kevin was born with spinal cord atrophy. He was using a wheelchair. Now, according to his family, he didn't let that disability get in the way. He led an active, independent lifestyle. He'd gone to college. He was a video game designer. Javalise told investigators that she had gotten a job at Epic Universe, took Kevin to the park as a birthday gift using 2 new hire tickets that she'd been given. So it was all well and good. She told police that typically Kevin's whole family would go with him on trips to amusement parks, but this time it was just the 2 of them. Now, Epic Universe had just opened a few months before in May of 2025. Stardust Racers track stands more than 130 feet tall, reaches a top speed of 62 miles an hour, and you go to September 17th.
If I quickly show you a video, but I'll have to do it with no sound. It's not that one. It's this one. A minute. Where's the volume? It might be all right, actually. I'll have to find out. Bear with me. Just show you what the roller coaster ride is like. Stop that screen a minute. Go back to this screen. See which one it is. This one. And then you get to see just how sickening it feels. Let me put some sound on, but I might have to turn it off. There's music in the background, so I don't want to risk it. So just imagine people screaming, laughing, and everything else. Sound. Right. So just use your own imagination for sounds if you were on this ride. That just makes me feel sick just watching this. Oh, I don't know about you lot, but I'm already feeling giddy. So you can imagine doing that, how it's going to lift your bottom off the seat. And of course, there's always two trains, making it look like if you're going to collide into each other. So there's always two trains on the track at the same time. Yeah, no, I don't fancy that, do you? Right, I'll stop it there because I'm already feeling a bit giddy. Another 27-inch monitor makes it feel even more real. Right, now I've got to come back down a minute. No, stop. Right, so right, let's get rid of this one. Oh, don't say I got rid of the wrong one. Oh no. Oh, pants. I just crossed down the wrong flipping video. Oh no, I didn't. I have a mental block, guys. I'll find which one it is now on this one. So it's not that one. It's not that one yet. Bear with me. Let me just double check that I can get rid of that page. I can get rid of that page. And I'll probably get rid of that page. That's one to do. That's the studio. Ah, there it is. Let me bring you back up on stage.
She told police that typically Kevin's whole family would go with him on trips to amusement parks, but this time it was just the two of them. Now, Epic Universe had just opened a few months before in May of 2025. Stardust Racer's track stands more than 130 feet tall, reaches a top speed of 62 miles an hour, and you go to September 17th. As Orange County deputies arrived at the scene, multiple paramedics were trying to revive Kevin.
You want Epi now? On the second round, after the second round, but get some TXA started. Lucas ready. Yeah, I got the Lucas ready. Well, I'll be switched. I'm not worried about Lucas right now. You get a great impression. Hey, I got the next rotation. Next post. That's not the only suspected thing you got. And get some fluids ready as well. Here. What happened? Not secured right, and we just got over. How's this color going?
He's still doing the face.
I got you.
The patch is on, right?
They're asking an update for Captain Ford. We're gonna close. You can cancel. You can cancel all the this goes. Yeah, I was good.
What if we need blood, though?
Yeah, witness goes over there. Hey, minute 45. Minute 45. Hey, we need this aisle secured, bro. Hey, Jamie, secure the aisle.
Hey, Hector, grab the pre-charge. BBM real quick.
IO. Secure the IO. Hey, code check, printer check. Post check, go check. Switch. Happy on board. Good. Hey, where's that security device for the IO?
Which one of you medics is here first?
Myself and
So the blood's from like a head injury? So it looks like he
hit it on something.
okay. Oh geez. Oh my. You guys get an ID off of him or anything? Was somebody sitting next to him?
Yeah, they did have a woman sitting next to him. I'm unsure what they did with her. They probably removed her maybe to the family room.
Hey, where's the lady that was sitting next to him?
I think they're down.
Okay. What?
We know somebody related to him?
Yeah, there was a woman sitting right next to him, apparently. That thing is covered in blood.
Yeah. Okay. Where is that? Where is she?
I'm trying to figure that one out right now. I've been asking for a family member for like the last 5 minutes.
So as Kevin was wheeled away on a stretcher, headed for the hospital, that's when deputies started their investigation, getting a closer look at the roller coaster seat, which I have to tell you was covered in blood.
Where were you guys when the call came?
I was in my car. They said, oh yeah, head injury at Stardust. I was like, somebody slipped and fell.
Yeah.
They didn't say it was for us it would have been like industrial accident or
Right.
something. I guess he wasn't strapped in all the way.
I'm trying to figure out if this is like brain matter or
vomit. Yeah.
You'll take some photos. We'll do investigation here. She's gonna take some photos.
They want to take photos
for their thing? Yeah.
Corporate photos real quick.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, just do me a favor and let's have them do it from this side of the fence.
I'd prefer that they do it on this side, just so we got enough of our investigation side from our.
Hold on on that until I talk to you in a second to see how they want to handle it. I don't know. So for now, I'd rather just hold it. You good with that?
And it might be an outback.
Yeah, I don't want anybody messing with it.
Photos are still the same.
Yeah.
And going back to Javalise, she was sitting a little ways away from the ride's exit, just trying to take in everything that was going on.
I need a statement on what happened. If you could recall, if you were able to.
Went on the ride. I saw him was too low. He doesn't have any support on his leg.
Okay.
They pushed it about 3 times, maybe 4.
Who pushed it? The ride workers?
Okay.
Okay.
I saw him on the first drop. Saw him hit his head. I tried to hold him. I couldn't hold him.
Okay.
Another one, he hit his head.
So he
He just went up and hit.
So the seat was loose the whole time?
It looked like he was tight.
Okay.
But it wasn't because he doesn't have support on his leg. So
I got you.
he can't just hold support so he can just stay in place.
Okay.
That's all I can remember because I lost my glasses halfway up the ride.
I got you.
All I know, he kept hitting his head. I try to hold him so he doesn't hit his head anymore.
Okay.
But he was.
All right. Just take this couple breaths. All right. Deep breaths. All right. I know it's a hectic situation. Okay.
Now, Javalise was also taken to the hospital to be checked out, but her boyfriend of approximately 10 years was pronounced dead. The day after Kevin's death, Universal Orlando released this statement. Universal is cooperating with the Orange County Sheriff's Office following a tragic event involving a guest at Epic Universe on Wednesday night. The guest became unresponsive after riding Stardust Racers and was transported to the hospital where the guest later died. We are devastated by this event and extend our sincerest sympathies to the guest's loved ones. We are fully committed to cooperating with this ongoing investigation. Now, we got our hands on an incident report that was filed by the Orange County Sheriff's Office, which kind of gives us an idea of how deputies conducted their investigation, okay? So they noted that there were several warning signs at the entrance to the ride and throughout the line that said, and this is important for a legal context, how amusement parks try to shield themselves from liability, because if they have inadequate warning signs, they can be held liable. But in part, it says These high-speed roller coasters include sudden and dramatic acceleration, climbing, tilting, and inversion and dropping. Failure to follow posted guidelines may result in serious injury or expulsion from the park. Guests using standard wheelchairs, motorized wheelchairs, or electric convenience vehicles must transfer to the ride vehicle seating. And that's exactly what Kevin did. He moved from his wheelchair to the ride. In fact, here's what an employee who helped him told investigators. This is according to the incident report. I asked if he'd be okay with transferring, and he said yes. So one of my team members escorted him while I helped another guest. Another team member and I then were told he had difficulty transferring and would need our transfer device, which is designed to assist guests unable to walk. We brought the device over to him and he transferred into it easily. It was a very normal transfer and he met all ride requirements. He transferred from the device into the vehicle easily. And investigators also got a sworn statement from the employee who helped secure Kevin's lap bar.
Kevin, the individual that was riding in the wheelchair that day, were you helping with the lap bar?
I did. I checked his lap bar, yes.
Okay. And was there any issues with it?
The only thing that came up was with our loading procedures, if the lap bar, so we have our indicator on the side of the seat that lets us know if the seat's in the green or not. If it's not in the green, we can tell there's a little notch that like will lean into the red. He had transferred over with the help from the transfer chair and the leads, and he was sitting in the seat upright, like we normally want them to be, and the lap restraint minimum was not met. It was like this close. So in that situation, we would ask them, are you okay? Like, are you comfortable if I push down a little bit just to make sure your lap bar accommodates you? And he said yes. And so then I pushed the lap bar down like we normally would with two hands, checked again, and then the restraint, the indicator met the minimum. Like it met where it was supposed to be in order for him to be able to ride.
So when you applied that one last pressure, when you asked him, okay, can I push down a little? And he said yes. And it met the minimum requirements for it to lock.
Yes.
When you did that, did he show any signs of discomfort?
No, he did not show any signs of discomfort. He didn't make a noise. His face didn't change. And we also have to kind of verify again, with him, to make sure, like with anyone that we would do that with, that they're comfortable. And he very clearly showed signs that he was indeed comfortable, in that seat. There was no discomfort that he was placed under.
Did his girlfriend say anything, like she was worried about anything?
No, she didn't say anything at all.
And she appeared to be fine as well?
Yes.
So the deputies reviewed the surveillance footage of the ride and they made the following observations, and this is key. 8:54:20 p.m. Ride staff started to help the decedent get seated in the ride. 8:56:57 p.m. The ride departs the loading unloading dock. 8:56:57 p.m. The ride is observed at the launch point, beginning of ride, and the victim appears to be engaged and well. 8:58:28 p.m. The ride cart is observed at the final break, but the video is from a distance and you cannot see the decedent. Again, 8:58:28 p.m. The ride arrived back at the loading unloading dock, and it is evident the decedent is unresponsive. So you do wonder what role that footage would have played at a trial, right? But investigators also interviewed Zavala again to try to understand exactly what happened during the ride.
I noticed that when he sat down, it was a little too low. They pushed the bar out.
What do you mean it was a little too low?
His belly was right here, and he was the bar was right here.
Okay.
So they pushed it, and they couldn't get it right. They pushed it again, they couldn't get it right, and they pushed it one more time. I think 3 times. I think it was 3 or 4 times. I can't remember. Once they did the green, they did it okay, and we went on the ride. On the first drop, that's when he kind of went up, and he hit his head.
On what?
We went on the last car, and we were on the front where there was the little bar of the cart, where there's the metal bar. He kind of lifted. I don't know how he just lifted up. He hit his head he would just bend and lift and just hit his head.
Were you seeing this as you were riding?
Yes, I saw it. When I noticed it, I tried to pick him up as fast as I could and hold him as much as I could and as strong as I could. And I remember just ripping his shirt because on the second drop, it did the same thing. I don't remember if I think it was on the third drop, he hit his head again.
Oh, guys.
I don't remember if there was a fourth drop. I know there were like 3 drops probably. And he hit his head, and then obviously I was just screaming, trying to make him trying to get him to talk to me to see if he's conscious, to see he's.
And this was all as the ride was still going on. You were trying to see if he was conscious.
Yes, I lost my glasses. He lost his glasses. We were just trying to I was just trying to get him to answer me. I was just trying to hold him as much as I could. I was just. Well, I know I ripped his shirt completely because I was just holding him.
According to News 6 in Orlando, Orange Osceola Chief Medical Examiner Joshua Stephanie said an autopsy revealed that the cause of death was multiple blunt impact injuries, and the manner of death, this is key, was an accident. And the Tallahassee Democrat newspaper reports that the resort itself, as well as the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, determined that
he also, let me go to my page, my glasses on. Where was it? Said what happened to his body. Oh, maybe I've deleted that one. A minute, just having a quick read through. Actually, I'll let it carry on playing, and then if I find what I'm looking for,
the ride systems functioned as intended, that the equipment was intact, and that park employees followed proper procedures. Now, Kevin's family wanted more concrete answers about exactly what happened here on the ride and whether anything had gone wrong that could be prevented in the future. So what did they do? They ended up hiring high-profile attorney Ben Crump, announced that they were getting their own investigators to take a closer look at Stardust Racers. And then you go to October 4th, 2 weeks after Kevin died, and the park reopened the roller coaster. This was much to the disappointment of the family and Ben Crump, who spoke at a news conference.
Let me start this press conference off with reminding you all, after this tragedy, before we had our first press conference, the president of Universal Epic put out some statement to her team members after the tragedy. And in large part, she says safety is and always will be at the forefront of everything we do. Well, Universal, these words ring hollow in light of you reopening the Starduster coaster this weekend without giving Kevin's families any answers whatsoever to why he was killed on your roller coaster. The family was very disappointed that they reopened this ride while we were trying to set up the inspections. Almost like a thief in the night when it said on a Friday afternoon, we're opening the ride tomorrow. You know when the family found out that the ride was going to be reopened? When you all found out the ride was going to be opened. I mean, they feel it was the ultimate disrespect. Kevin trusted Universal. He trusted them assisting him on the ride. He trusted the process. He trusted the training of Universal employees to keep him safe and out of harm's way. Kevin trusted the Universal officials, and that trust ended up being a death sentence.
And Kevin's family members, their pain was on full display as they spoke at that news conference about their loss.
Kevin did nothing wrong. He reviewed the warnings before getting on the roller coaster, like he always did anytime he rode on the roller coaster. He placed his trust in Universal and its employees not to let him board on a ride if it was dangerous for him. He believed he was safe because Universal's actions told him that he was safe. We can't get Kevin back, but we can speak up to make sure no one else loses their life this way.
Kevin's mom, Anna, delivered a statement in Spanish and then had someone step in to read it in English.
Riding roller coasters was something we both loved to do together. We shared that thrill and exhilaration. It made him and I feel alive and free. One of my favorite photos of us is on a roller coaster. Both of us smiling, his hands in the air. But now, that photo is too painful to look at because it reminds me of how he died. When we learned Universal had reopened the ride, we were heartbroken. It felt like losing him all over again. How can the ride be open before we even have answers about what went wrong? Before our own experts can even take a look at it? We're not asking them to close it forever. We're asking them for answers and to make it safe because we do not want another family to go through what we are all going through. I continue to toss and turn at night, trying to figure out why they don't think my son's life mattered. If this were their children, I don't think they would have opened up this ride so quickly. I love my son just as much as they love their children. Whoever is making the decision to put profit over people and their safety, may God have mercy on your soul.
Now, I'm going to give you my legal take in a minute, but I just want to note one more thing. When the ride reopened, it had some new guidelines as part of Universal Orlando Resort's Guide for Safety and Accessibility. There was a list of rides where guests using mobility devices must be able to walk independently, and that now includes Stardust racers. The reason I think that's significant is whenever you see a company make a change after an incident, there is a legal argument that could be made. Is that acknowledging fault? Is that acknowledging liability? Is that acknowledging a mistake? Now, under the specific rules for the ride, there is a note that says this attraction has a device to assist you with your transfer to the ride vehicle. Please see an attractions attendant for further information. Guests using mobility devices must be able to walk into.
It's so easy to change the guidelines once the accident's happened. You know, it's a bit like saying when the horse is bolted, you change the rules and regulations. This should have been in place before any accident happened. They should have had safety assessors looking at the ride before it went public to see, in the worst case scenario, what could go wrong. And these rides not aimed, but these rides are deemed as suitable for disabled people. Now, I know disabilities can come in many shapes and forms, but if you're a disabled person or a service chair user, you need to make sure, well, not you, they need to make sure you are more safer than an able-bodied person. Because like with Kevin, he lost the use of his legs. So he wasn't able to sort of like push his feet down to the ground to try and ground him like we would do. You know, if he's got no feeling in his legs, he can't do that. So he was just like a rag doll on a high-speed thing. And I looked up on the exact injuries that had happened. Bearing in mind he's already got spinal injuries. Let me find it again. His leg was shattered under the pressure. His body was overwhelmed by the force, and his head took the worst of it. The ride didn't fail. It worked perfectly. And that's what makes this more terrifying, because there's not, in my opinion, there's not enough safety measures going in there. And that, so all I can say to any of you out there, if you enjoy roller coasters, I mean, like I did when I was a teenager, I wouldn't get on one now because I've got various heart problems and things, so it would probably end up killing me. But you know, if you're one of these people that seek the thrills, and that next time you sit down in one and you hear that click, you may, you know, you might think you're safe, but are you really safe? You know, so everyone needs to think of that, you know, inside their heads, really. They also did a GoFundMe. If I go back to my StreamYard, actually, I'll finish this off first.
Independently. But then you go to the Orange County Sheriff's Office incident report that was released in December, and it states the following investigators' conclusion. Based upon the totality of the circumstances, with consideration of known available evidence to include sworn statements, video surveillance, the District 9 Medical Examiner's Office findings, the standard operating procedures provided by Epic Universe, this case was deemed an accidental death and was closed accordingly. Now, I have to give you a piece of law here. Whenever you're talking about lawsuits against amusement parks, many times these parks are shielded from liability based on something called assumption of the risk. You can see that in the warning signs, sometimes in a ticket or a purchase. There will be a waiver that you know what you're getting into, that you're voluntarily participating in these activities, that you're knowingly accepting the risks, and you're doing it anyway. And there's, primary assumption of the risk. So you understand that there's inherent dangers involved. But again, you're waiving liability. You're waiving your right to sue the amusement park if something, God forbid, should happen. But then there's this secondary assumption of risk. So sometimes where amusement parks are not shielded from liability is if there was negligent maintenance of the ride, or there was an operational error, or there were design defects, again, inadequate warning. It would be very difficult for amusement parks to say somebody waived their right to sue and we can just operate this roller coaster however we want negligently. We can have somebody playing on their phone while they operate it. That's not necessarily what somebody is waiving their rights for. They're not assuming that risk. They're going on, they're assuming that the ride is functioning properly. So that is something interesting to be thinking about. But I want to make something clear. As of that October press conference, the family hadn't filed the lawsuit against Universal Orlando, but according to Ben Crump, they were considering, quote, all legal options. But then you go to December and the law firm announced that there was a settlement reached. A statement reads, the family of Kevin Rodriguez Zavala and Universal have reached an amicable resolution in this matter. The terms are confidential. The family is grateful for the community support and asks for privacy at this time. It's confidential. We don't know exactly what the terms were. But something to be thinking about is an amusement park, if they settle here, it doesn't mean that they're at fault per se. They just maybe wouldn't want to go through the time and the expense and the risk of going to trial. One of the things that happens in litigation is their discovery. Do they want all their internal reports and communications being revealed? Maybe, maybe not. And at the end of the day, I think this is clear. This was a tragedy. And perhaps entering into a settlement, perhaps financially compensating the family to some degree, that can help in a way. Nothing is going to bring him back, but maybe that helps in a way. And it's a way to kind of resolve this situation in a way where the family could potentially move on and be helped. So again, this is a horrific situation for this family. They lost a brother, they lost a son. You have a girlfriend who lost her boyfriend, and he was just doing what he loved when he died. He was riding a roller coaster. Again, just a tragedy, and our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts are with his family and friends. Difficult to say the least. That's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please
amount. I didn't realize I wasn't on stage. It'd be quite a substantial amount that they would have been paid for. But they also, I think it was his sister, she had set up a GoFundMe because naturally you're gonna have funeral expenses and things like that. And before Orlando would have paid them out, they would have been struggling with money. And that, so this was done by his sister on behalf of his thing. So they only originally started the fundraiser for $8,000. And people have just been given and given and given. And that, because that's the nature of us, you know, if it's a good cause, we don't mind using our money on something that's a good cause. And they actually raised $29,000. So that is, you know, a lot of money. Yes, I know, you know, he would have had loss of earnings from doing his computer gaming programming or whatever it was he was doing, and the donations are now being paused, and that, so they're not currently taking any more fundraising for it. But as you can see, you know, they did raise quite a few things, you know, a lot of money, which would have helped towards his funeral expenses, headstone, if he was buried. I'm just seeing if there's any more videos I can show you. No, there isn't. Yeah, so that's all I can show you on that one. So thank you again for watching me on a replay. If you can click like, subscribe, all notifications, and share, it helps me out tremendously, because I really want to grow this channel. And that, you know, I know there's a lot of really good YouTuber creators out there, but when it comes for me to reading documents or reading anything to be read to my audience, I do have dyslexia, but I try not to let that affect me as much as I can. So, you know, going forwards, I'm hoping it'll only help me and it'll help me to improve. So, you know, let's do it. You know, if you can smash that like button for me and share, I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to donate any monies towards me, because I have been having mic problems and this mic cost me £45. So it's dear to me, but it's probably not dear to what some creators have got. And over the last couple of weeks, it has started showing it's given me problems. Like yesterday, I did the whole show and I didn't really keep a check on those 3 dots at the bottom that tells me the microphone's working fine. And I also didn't think about looking at the video once I'd shared, you know, uploaded it. So that was my bad parts, that I should have been checking all the way through the video in. And it wasn't until Jay from Guilty of Crime and Kimberly, who's also a member on Jay's site, said no audio, you're muted. And I realized when I played it back on my phone last night, I thought, that means I've got to do the whole 45-minute long video all over again before I even think of finding another story to do. So, but like I was saying, because I've only got just over 100 subscribers, I think my views are okay to be monetized, but I need like 1,000 or 1,500 members before I'm monetized. So that's why I've got buymeacoffee.com Kathy P. So I will keep that all in there as a savings pot. So like if my antivirus needs renewing, or any of my programs that I pay monthly for to be able to do YouTube business, then that money can go towards there. So you can donate as anything as little as 50p if you want to, or £1. You know, it's all gratefully received. You know, I'm not into begging, but you know, it does help. So with that one, I shall end this stream now and I shall see you on the next one, guys. Thank you for being with me. Bye.